Thank you for having me. Chairman Eldridge, Chairman Dave, members of the Joint Committee on the Judiciary, good afternoon. My name is James Keown, and for the past 18 years, I have been incarcerated in Massachusetts, serving life without parole. While I support a number of bills before the committee, I wish to focus my testimony today on an act to reduce mass incarceration. Life without parole is an abhorrent punishment. The terminal sentence destroys lives while failing to provide healing to survivors or addressing any of the underlying issues that lead to murder. The punishment is built upon the idea that large groups of people can never be rehabilitated. This belief system is informed by a collection of myths and extraordinary anecdotes that comprise a narrative that is used to promote hate over healing in our communities. In my written testimony, I share with you 6 myths associated with life without parole. Allow me to briefly highlight a few. The foundational myth of modern life without parole is that it is a more humane sentence than the death penalty. It is not. It is in many ways equivalent to the death penalty. Death penalty opponents will often point to 3 factors of execution to demonstrate the cruelty of the act: the length of time the act takes, the mental harm inflicted, and the physical harm inflicted. Pain, suffering, and time are universal markers of torture. If these long accepted measurements are used to evaluate life without parole, it becomes clear that the punishment is actually the cruelest form of state killing used today. Rather than a combination of drugs, Massachusetts relies on a deadly cocktail of hopelessness, unhealthy living environments, substandard food, and inferior medical care used over decades to systematically break down the physical and mental systems of people serving life without parole until they die. The punishment is execution in slow motion. A second myth is that life without parole is reserved for the worst of the worst, or the most heinous crimes. In reality, the punishment often has little to do with the facts of the case. Instead, the only thing that links every single person serving life without parole is that they all exercise their constitutional right to a trial. A third myth is that ending life without parole would unduly traumatize victims, family members, and other survivors of crime. The pain inflicted on families and friends of homicide victims cannot be overstated. This bill does not minimize their pain or set to amplify their suffering. Instead, the proposal encourages accountability by creating a meaningful pathway for people who have taken lives to atone for their crimes rather than disappearing forever behind a prison wall. This reform does much more than end life without parole. The bill promotes rehabilitation. It provides a mechanism to address the elderly prison population. It fixes many of the inconsistencies in sentencing for emerging adults, and it manages public safety spending better. Most of all, it encourages real healing, which leads to improved public safety. Therefore, I request that you dismiss the myths and support this bill, and thank you for including incarcerated voices in today's hearing. Thank you.